Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make these hat and scarf sets. Now I made these for my son and daughter, matching sets here, just same yarn, just different colors. And they have the keyhole scarf here, which you don't have to do that. You can leave this little slit out and just make it a regular scarf, but the keyhole scarf just kind of slides through that hole there, and then it goes up around their neck like that. So that's kind of what that looks like. And I made 2 of those, so they'll match up good. These pom-poms I purchased off of Amazon. I think they're like, came in a pack of I think 12 for like $13. They got all different colors, but that's where that came from. But you don't have to use the pom-pom. You can make your own, or you can leave it off. That is up to you. Sizing wise, I would say these are toddler size, like size 3 to 6 or 7 years old. If you want to make them smaller during the video, I would suggest leaving off the last increase row that I do, so you'll see that when the time comes, and that'll make the hat smaller. For a smaller child, probably leave off a couple more rows down here. And if you want to make it for a bigger child, say 8, 10, something like that, I would probably use just one hook size bigger, and I think that'll probably work. So other than that, let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for this project, I am using Redheart Hopscotch Yarn, which is a 100% acrylic medium 4-weight yarn. Now, you don't have to use this yarn. Any 4-weight yarn will work. Now, there's 210 yards per skein, and I was able to get the hat and the scarf both at a 1 skein. It wasn't very, there wasn't any left, but I just finished the scarf up until I ran out of yarn. But I was able to get that at both of them at a 1 skein, which is good. Good 210 yards. I used the 2 different colors. This one's called Scooter, and this one here is called Water Slide. Of course, you can use any color that you want. Go over, and then I'm going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And I want to take just 1 second to ask you not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Remember, there will always be an auto subscribe button in the description box of this video or any of my videos. Just click on that. You'll automatically be subscribed and you'll never miss any of my updates. And there's also a subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner of all my videos also. Okay, so you want to start off with a slip knot on your hook. For the hat is what we're starting. We're going to start with a chain of 4. Now I'm going to work a slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Now if you prefer to use the magic circle, that's fine too. Now I'm going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. I'm going to be working through the center of my ring here, and I want to work 12 double crochets. So I'm going to yarn over and go right through the center of my ring, draw up a loop, and then work my double crochet. And I want to do that 12 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've made it around and I've done my 12 double crochets. So you can pull your tail and usually close up that center circle a little bit more, and then later on you can always sew it together the rest of the way. Now I'm going to end round 1 by slip stitching into my first double crochet, and you'll have 12 stitches there at the end of the round. Now I'm going to start round 2 by chaining 1. Now I'm going to be working right back into that same stitch there that I just slip stitched into, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets into that stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Now I'm going to work around and I'm going to put 2 double crochets into every stitch all the way around. So there's 2 double crochets into my next stitch, and 2 into the next, two into the next, and I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get back around to my starting point. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 2, and now you should have 24 stitches. We're going to end round 2 by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Round 3, we're going to start with a chain 1. Now I'm going to work 1 double crochet right back there into that same stitch right here that I just slip stitched into. And now the next stitch I'm going to put 2 double crochets into. Now I'm going to kind of repeat that. So I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next. And then the next we'll have 2 double crochets. One double crochet into the next. And then the next will have 2 double crochets. So that's the pattern for round 3. 1 double crochet into the next, and then 2 double crochets into the next. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 3. Now your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, and now you should have a total of 36 stitches. And we're going to go ahead and end round 3 by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Just like that. Now round 4, we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to work 1 double crochet right back into the very first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and now the next stitch will get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And that's the pattern now that we'll repeat. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then the next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next. And that's the repeat pattern now for round 4. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. And then 2 doubles into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 4. Your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, and you should have a total of 48 stitches now. Now I'm going to end by slip stitching into my first double crochet. Now for round 5, I'm going to chain 1. Now what I want to do is put 1 double crochet into the first 11 stitches. So right there in your very first one, counts as your first one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, Okay, there's 11 stitches right there. Now in my next stitch, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. And that's what I'm going to repeat now. 1 double crochet into the next 11 stitches. There's 11 and 2 double crochets into the next, just like that. So I'm just going to repeat that all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alrighty, I made it to the end of round 5, and now you'll have a total of 52 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now round 6 and 7 are the repeat rounds for the rest of the hat. So it's really easy. Round 6, we're going to chain 1, and now we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. So our first single crochet always goes right back into that very same stitch that you slip stitched into, and then we just work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 6, and you'll still have 52 stitches. You want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first single crochet. Not the chain 1 that we did, but our first single crochet. And now round 7, we're going to chain 1. Now this time it's just going to be 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. So we'll yarn over, and our first double crochet always goes right here where we slip stitched our very first stitch. And now I'm going to work around, putting 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get back to my starting point. Okay, I've come to the end of round 7. You should still have 52 stitches. You'll always have 52 stitches. And you want to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first double crochet. So now I'm just going to repeat rounds 6 and 7 for a total of 18 rounds. You can do more or less rounds if you want. I'm going to do a total of 18. So I'm just going to start again for round 8, and I'm going to repeat round 6. The single crochet row. So just 1 row of single crochet all the way around. Single crochet in every stitch until you get back to your starting point. And then the next round will be double crochet round. 1 double crochet in every stitch till you get back to your starting point. Then single crochet and double crochet. So we're just going to keep repeating this until we get a total of 18 rounds done. Okay, I finished my 18 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into my first single crochet. Now remember, you can make this hat shorter if you want. I did make mine a bit longer, but I chose to do that. But that, if you don't like the way, if you see the picture in the beginning and you want yours a little shorter, that's fine. But go ahead and clip that off, and then you want to hide that tail. Now if you want to put on a pom-pom, you can. You definitely don't have to. You can make your own pom-pom and sew it on to the top, or if you happen to have one like mine, show you real quick how I usually attach those. I don't usually show myself sewing in tails. I always think, how boring can it be to watch me sew in tails? But I just went ahead and did that real quick. Alright. Alright, now, you have to have a pom-pom like this. Remember, you can leave it off or make your own. What I do is just get a little button. Now, it doesn't even have to match because you're not going to see it. But all I do is I'll take it and with a regular thread and needle, sew it up here to the top. It's a regular thread and needle, okay? Because this pom-pom is the type of pom-pom that has a little rubber band on it. And then once that button's sewed on the inside, all you have to do is put the rubber band of the pom-pom through that hole and attach it to the button. And then you can take it off if you want to wash it. Some of these pom-poms have a button already sewed here and then another piece of button that you can sew on and they snap together. But that's kind of how I do that. But remember, you don't even have to do that, or you can make your own. But let's go ahead and get started on the scarf. Okay, the scarf's done pretty much, you know, just pretty much the same way as the hat. You want to start off with the chain of 17. Okay, and once you get your chain of 17, you want to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. Now remember, we don't count this one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet in that 4th stitch. And then we'll just put 1 double crochet in every stitch for the length of your chain. Okay, when you make it to the end, you will have 15 stitches, and that is including this chain here on the end. It counts as a stitch. So now what we're going to do for row 2 is chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across. So we start right here into this very first stitch, and that's where we put our single crochet, our first one. And now it's 1 single crochet in every stitch until we get to the end of the row. And when you come to the end of row 2 here, your last stitch on this row will go into this chain on the end, because remember, he counts as a stitch. So right in the top of it, that'll be where your last stitch goes. And now you'll have 15 stitches still. You'll always have 15 stitches. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to kind of repeat those rows. So now we're going to do a row of double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and go into this very first stitch and double crochet. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch across until we get to the end of the row. Okay, when you make it to the end of the row, again, you'll have 15 stitches. And now we're just going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to repeat the single crochet row. So, single crochet right there in that first stitch. And 1 single crochet in every stitch across. So we're just repeating rows of double crochet and single crochet. You know, just like we did for the main part of the hat. You'll always have 15 stitches at the end of every row. Just like that. Then you always chain 1 and turn, and then I'll start my row of double crochet. And then I'll do a single row and then a double crochet row. Okay, I made it to the end of my 51st row. So I'm getting ready to start row 52, and it should be a single crochet row. And now we're going to make our hole for the scarf, for, you know, hence the keyhole scarf. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches, starting with this very first one. There's 5. Now I'm going to chain 5. And then I'm going to skip 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next one, I'm going to single crochet into that one. And then each of the remaining stitches. So counting this one right here, you should have a total of 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's our hole formed. Now row 53, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're just going to kind of do our double crochet across. So we'll go ahead and put 1 in our first stitch. And then each of the next 4 stitches here. And now we're at our chain. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 5 double crochets right through the chain. So I'm just going to go right through it like that and just work 5 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. You can spread them out a bit if you want, but they'll straighten up whenever you get the next row on. And then go ahead and continue putting 1 double crochet in the remaining 5 stitches. And then we're just going to continue chain 1 and turn. We're going to continue our single crochet, double crochet, row repeat. Just like we were doing. So this is single in every stitch. Next row will be double. Next row will be single. So we're just going to keep repeating what we've been doing. And now we got our hole there for our scarf. Now remember, you could always let that off if you didn't want it. But there it is. Okay, I went ahead and ended at 68 rows. And then I just went in and clipped my yarn. And you can just tie off. And then that's the scarf here. The keyhole scarf. So I'll just fold over here and it just works like that. So that's kind of how that works. Adjust it around the child's neck. And that is it. You get your scarf done, hat done, you're all finished. That's all there is to it. So I got one for each of my kids. I hope you enjoy my tutorial. It's probably pretty easy. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Remember, we talked about that auto subscribe link in the beginning. Also, don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. I have hundreds and hundreds of tutorials. And I'll also put a link below to my Facebook page where you can post all your crochet items on there. I'd really like to see them. So until next time, have a good day.